Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Syed Moazzam and I work as Head of Marketing and Admissions at the International School of Choueifat, Lahore. I welcome you all on a very special program of experts talk to ISC Lahore. Today the topic under discussion would be entrepreneurship, and the panelists are alumni of ISC Lahore. So I'm the host for today's program, and after a brief introduction of the moderator and panelists, I would stay behind and let the moderator take the program along. So today's moderator is Ms. Margo Aziz. She is the Director of International School of Choueifat, Lahore, and the panelists are Saqib Khakwani, class of 1999, Mohsin Ejaz, class of 2011, and Gohar Rehman Mirza, class of 2011. So I welcome you all on the program, and from now onwards I would hand over the stage to Ms. Margo and she would run the show. Over to you, Ms. Margo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moazzam, for absolutely lovely setting this scene for the program itself. I would like to start reminding ourselves and maybe reinforcing what Mr. Moazzam said about the two important aspects of this program. First one is the topic, entrepreneurship. And we will be talking about the aspects of that particular now field from the experience of our three alumni, three former students from different years in different private businesses. So there will be a variety, and we're gonna have a discussion. How easy, how difficult, how successful, how heartbreaking, maybe sometimes it is to become an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur also means to us that these are the extremely courageous people, men and women, because they are opening a new paths and new ways of establishing and conducting businesses as well. So I think it will be a very exciting discussion, and probably a learning guiding process for many parents and many students who eventually will also see this program on both ISC Lahore's platform, digital platform, on Facebook, on Instagram, and also on YouTube. So let's start, and let's start with our three participants and panelists, and I would like them to introduce themselves, whatever they think the world would like to know about them. Maybe Saqib, you start.
Well, my name is Saqib Khakwani. I'm class of 99. I have a small company, very small, by the name of Oleotech. We provide storage facilities in oil and gas services. I basically got introduced to oil and gas about 6 months after I had graduated from university. I was doing some job interviews, and I had absolutely no idea or no knowledge about oil and gas industry, but through somebody I got introduced to it, and I just fell in love with what they do, and I started working hands-on in Colorado, learning what to do, got a separate diploma just to understand the dynamics of that industry. And I've been in it since then. I was working for a few companies before that, and in 2013 I decided to take the plunge and start my own company with a few friends, because I believe if you don't take these risks a little earlier in your life, it gets a little difficult later on. Plus, it gave me an opportunity to pursue my polo career as a professional. And I have been doing that since.
Thank you. Thank you, Saqib. We'll already have some questions for you, but they're going to be coming. You know, we're going to be elaborating more. Gohar, your turn, please.
Hello, everybody. So thank you for this opportunity, Ms. Margo. It was really a pleasure for us to come here today and introduce us to you. So I'm from the class of 2011. I did my mechanical engineering from Queen Mary University of London. And then I did my specialization in 3D printing. So since then, I came with an idea of developing invisible braces with the use of 3D printing machines. And I started my company with a very scratch idea, and it was started just in year 2018. And I'm very very blessed that in just 2 years, we are the fastest growing braces company in Asia. And I just started single-handedly in my room with just 5 lakh rupees taken as a loan from my father. And now we have about 150 staff in this facility in Lahore and 3,000 plus dentists on board. And fortunately, we are exporting to more than 16 countries worldwide. And this is a short brief of us, and I'll just introduce myself in the future questions, like how this journey started. But it is a little introduction that it started from a scratch, and now it has achieved this success.
And it's got a beautiful name. It is.
Yeah.
Correct me if I will. Not pronounce it correctly, but I read it like "and smile."
Yeah, and smile. Yeah, and smile.
And I don't know about you, but the moment I say it, I actually have a smile on my face. I can't say
yeah, that is our purpose.
Smile or anything.
Yeah.
You know, it's
yeah.
You know, it's something which people would say,
yeah.
"Oh my goodness, that's so sounds so jolly, sounds fun." You know,
that was the purpose of the name, to bring smiles onto your faces.
Immediately showing your teeth, the state of your teeth. So it's easy to get the customers, I hope.
Exactly.
sometimes through that.
Exactly.
Thank you, Gohar. Well, we have Mohsin now.
Thank you, Mrs. Margo. My name is Mohsin Ejaz. I am from class of 2011. Basically, I'll repeat myself by starting by something that you really like, that my journey up to this point has allowed me to see the good, the bad, the unwanted, and the most desired things in life. Being in an industry that is related to event management, it had to be an exciting one. After Choueifat, I completed my bachelor's from Lahore School of Economics, and from there, I decided to pursue my further studies, and I went on to do my master's from London. Right now, I am involved in the operational activities of 𝒂𝒐 Catering, which is a well-established name for food and beverage services and event planning in Punjab region. Moreover, we've been the architects of some of the most important corporate gatherings, some of the biggest weddings, and in Lahore, our expertise in the sector allows us to challenge ourselves every day. Apart from that, it's been an exciting journey. We've been it has given us the drive to engage with every client as if they were our last. And we've been just trying to improve on it from day-to-day basis. And I think we've been able to do a pretty good job as of now.
Thank you, Mohsin. And your introductions already gave us, certain ideas. For some of you mention it, but I would like to go a little bit deeper, more in the detail. Remember, this program, in a sense, maybe it's too ambitious, but why not? We want this program also to be a guide, an encouragement, maybe even a blueprint for someone, okay, who would like to get into the private business. So let me put it in this. It's gonna be a few parts, but just put it together, and each one of you maybe will be contributing, so we can see similarities and differences of your paths. So what I would like to know is how actually you became the entrepreneur. How did you start this path? Was it on the spur of the moment because suddenly maybe you made another partner, or observed someone and said, well, I can do this, I would like to do that as well? Or was it a plan, however, outlined, but a plan when you already had it before even graduation? And then maybe it grew through the university and beyond. If once you made this decision, either on the spot or as a planning one, why was the motivation? Isn't it easier to just go and be a lawyer? You have the curriculum, you have a doctor, engineer even. I think Saqib started or Gohar started as an engineer. You're going into engineering. Safer, more predictable, less stressful, less competition, that's for sure. And did you have any doubts? Were you even thinking that it may not work? I just don't want to call it a failure. But we all know from the research that on average 100 startups or entrepreneurial activities, less than 40% all over the world succeed. Majority of them, they don't. We will go to the reasons, but if you could briefly, each one of you, elaborate on what I just mentioned. How did it happen? Were there doubts? What the motivation coming from?
Should I go first?
Yes.
Okay, so for me, personally, I didn't have a plan. Even after I had graduated from university, what I was going to do, I was actually just doing a lot of interviews in New York, Washington, D.C., etc. I got a couple of offers. I got one offer from this gentleman who was on one of these shows with Donald Trump, The Apprentice. He was, I think, the runner-up. He had a
good connection starting.
No, I basically just ended up in that interview, and he liked me, and we were going to start off, and something just didn't feel right doing that. I had done a lot of internships with banks, even though my degree was in economics and finance. But I've always been the type of person who decides from the heart. So I didn't really take up on those opportunities, and I'm very glad that I didn't. And then I ended up in oil and gas. So in oil and gas, I was working for a couple of people and got a lot of exposure, got a lot of experience. And then after working with them for 6-7 years, getting enough exposure and know-how of the business, I've always wanted to do something on my own. Getting experience is one thing, but having your own business or something of your own has always been on my mind. And that's where I started with a couple of friends. One of them is my cousin, and since we were together in oil and gas, we took the plunge. He was also working for Schlumberger, and I was with another company, and we had decided, and we called it quits. I had another offer to go to Jakarta and keep working, better offer, better pay and everything, but I just didn't want to stay away from my family here in Pakistan. I knew that if I could do here, I would do better. So taking that plunge, and I've always been a little, I haven't been risk averse. So you need to be an entrepreneur, I think you need to take measured risks all the time. I always believe that if you don't take risks earlier in your life, as years go by, it becomes a little difficult. You change your everything around you changes, and the earlier all these experiments, if you do earlier in life, they're always better. And for me, that's how it happened, and it wasn't easy at all. First, I remember 2 to 3 years we were struggling a lot. Some partners that we had, again, they didn't want to continue because obviously not everybody is built that way. Some of us felt that no, this is a big opportunity, and if we continue down that road, it's going to pay off. And then eventually, after 2-3 years, things settled down, and we did well. And I think some of us that are still there in this company, we are happy about the decisions that we made. So I feel if you believe in something, you got to stick to it. Use your heart more than your mind to guide you, and take measured risks. I think measured risks are very important, and that's how it worked for me.
And during this journey, and particularly those 2 or 3 years when a number of challenges were coming your way, did you ever consider, even for the brief moment, you know what, I'm gonna quit it, it's not worth it?
No, I don't think so. No. You see, what came into my mind would be that, okay, this is not going to take off. Fine. If it doesn't take off, it doesn't take off. But at least I gave it a shot. And I think it was a similar thing for my professional polo career as well. I had decided that and I started both these careers, I think, at around the same time as well. Because leaving a 9-to-5 job gives me a little bit of flexibility in timings as well, which helped me in my polo career, because you need that time to spend in both these places. So starting this company and starting the polo career, I was always confident that, and I wasn't at all feeling that if it doesn't take off, what's going to happen? Because if you start thinking on those lines, I believe that sort of takes you down a different path. You become a little risk averse, and then you need to have some confidence in yourself and what you believe in.
Yes.
Think about what you want to do, but once you decide that you want to do this, then you just go ahead full throttle. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I mean, it's not meant to be. It's not the end of the world, and something else will come up. That was my ideology with this.
Thank you, Saqib. How about you, Mohsin?
I completely agree with
Was it a plan?
Saqib.
Was it a spur on the moment? Was it your passion? Did you really think that you will be, excited by that particular type of the company?
Becoming an entrepreneur is never easy. Like Saqib said, it's difficult. Nothing comes easy, whether you're an established businessman with a strong family background, or even if you're struggling to work and execute an idea. For me, there was always an option to be an entrepreneur because my family was already in the catering business. But after completing Choueifat, I had that urge to explore and to become independent and know what is going around and what is good and what is the bad things that I have to be aware of before I started my own thing. So after completing my master's, I decided, I actually realized that there was an objective, like I could do something for my current or my family business that is catering, and it's then when I decided to like come back and join the business and start and make a difference. Like I had that exposure now. Like I did know how the world or what people are doing outside of Pakistan and how the society works other than what we've seen over here. So that was a positive that I could bring to my business now. It wasn't just that I go in for work and just sit there and everything's already made, everything's done, and I just had to like be there, observe and everything. I had my own ideas now that I could bring to the table. So that's when I decided that I'll join and start working. It's been a tough one. It's been a tough one. I won't say it was an easy one, but that's what an entrepreneur has to be able to do. Like he has to be he knows that it's going to be a tough one. If he thinks it's going to be an easy ride, then I don't think he's made for it, or he's an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur should always be like prepared that there's going to be hurdles and obstacles that he has to go through before he does something or before his business does something. So that's basically what motivated me. Like once I had that objective and I had the exposure and I knew that I could make a difference, so that's when I basically decided that this will be the right time for me to be an entrepreneur and to be a part of the business and start.
Wonderful, thank you, thank you. You know, you could see, you know, the personal perseverance, even, you know, no matter what. And once you get that passion and believe in yourself, that's already the first step for the success. Even if the success will come maybe 2 or 3 years later, maybe you have to wait for that. But if you take those steps, believing in yourselves, being consistent, this is my passion, this is what I'm interested in, and I want to do it. That's we'll come in a second to the values, and you will hopefully share it with me, but we already mentioning some of them. But I would like Gohar to share it with us also, his thoughts on this plan, no plan, success, failure, motivation or no motivation.
So for me, Miss Margo, I was different from, I guess, both of my school fellows. I was very determined. From grade 5, I knew that I had to be a businessman. And I was joining my father's business. I was daily working in my father's business after I went home at 5 o'clock. And I knew from day first that I will be a businessman. That was my determination.
But you did study as well. You know,
obviously, I had to make
sure how that he was passing them exams.
You won't believe it, but I was doing some certifications online for Coursera and edX, where I was learning entrepreneurship on my own. And I knew that, and all my friends were discussing jobs and what they had to do after this university thing. And it never came to my mind, you believe me, like never came to my mind that I'll do job once. And job was never an option. So after I did my engineering, the first thing I did was like see what I got from this degree and what base could I make to start a new venture which should be innovative and new in the world. I shouldn't follow anybody, and I will start something on my own which will be innovative. So that is when this idea came to my mind. And I started this company in UK. So while I was studying, I formed this company and Smile, and the main head office of this company is still in the UK in London. And I hired one receptionist there while I was studying, and she was taking my calls. And while I was going to the university, and I started marketing my work from there. But then I had to come to Pakistan due to my parents' age. And I had two options now. Like one option was to join my father's business. He was an established businessman. He had some McDonald's franchises. He had a factory, whatnot. But I decided on my own that I'll start something from scratch. And I will tell to the world that I didn't take any financial help or anything from my parents, and I'll start something of my own. That was my like the driving force. So that is when I started this company in Pakistan, this 𝒙. And I started outsourcing products from different countries because I didn't had much funds to like gather all the machinery in the start. But then Allah gave me success, and it was a good journey. And now you have seen me. So I guess the first thing you need to have in your mind, you cannot like see where life takes you. This never happens. What you need to like make sure, you need to make your own plan in the start. And our school needs to teach our kids what your plan is and what you want, what would you like to do in the world, and start preparing for yourself from grade 5 or grade 4, whatever like grade they are in. And our students should think that way, like in what direction they need to go in. It shouldn't be where destiny takes them. It should be where you want to go. And that is, I guess, what we have to teach our kids. Like we need to like, even if it's job, you need to like excel in that as well. You cannot like be doing job in your 30s and then start business. That is even wrong. Just like choose a career and then start something early. So that was my motivation. And
that was, you know, you presented, you know, the three of you. And I think, you know, they were very fortunate because obviously you did have a support of your families. You keep on talking about the families, okay? There was no intervention of any kind. However, there are other students, other young men graduating who would like to go into their own very creative, very innovative businesses, and the closest family, the parents, are opposing it. There is a lot of pressure on them. And in a country like Pakistan, I think, and I hope you will agree with me, if not, please say so, with such a pressure from the parents, it's very difficult for young men or young women to say, okay, I don't care what you think. I don't need your help. I'm gonna go my own way. It's not easy. It's not, I'm not saying it's not happening, but it is not easy, and the carry, you know, split of the family, at least for a while. Or the young man or woman, they have to basically give in, you know, and move into the different careers. It was wonderful, Gohar, that you already mentioned another very important aspects of entrepreneurship, which not many young people in the school really thinking about. They're thinking, you know, about something predictable. Entrepreneurship is to finding, like you or one of you or you said, to find a niche, but also the other part is creativity, innovation, and thinking out of the box.
Exactly. That is what entrepreneurship is.
Something new, something which maybe is not available even in the country, and you might be introducing. It's a tough way to do it. But I'm sorry to say that, and this is with no issue of a disrespect to your dad, it's much easier to negotiate franchise of McDonald's than start the company from scratch, like you guys did.
It is very tough. It is very tough. It has very high chances of failures.
Does not take respect and value from getting a franchise of whatever. But this is not the same unless you somehow redesign this franchise, do something really unusual, creative, innovative. Let it be in the management, let it be in the offerings, in the way of involving the customer, whichever way. Then it's a different story. But if you go through the traditional way, then it's easy. what you did, starting, you know, from something very new, and also something which some might say it is for the certain group of people. And I hope you will agree with me. People who, first of all, are concerned about how they look and how to take care of their teeth. And also the ones who obviously will be financially able to
afford it. Yeah, exactly, you're right.
But this is not the disadvantage of your business. No.
Exactly.
The entrepreneurs have to reach the net as wide as they can.
Exactly.
You mentioned something about education and school, and I do have this issue, and we will actually come back to it. But I would like to go to something which I was doing. Actually, I was doing presentation. I don't remember where. I think it was at 𝒂𝒐𝒆𝒄 University. They asked me to do the actually presentation on the entrepreneurship and what does it take and this kind of thing. It was actually very well. It was a little bit long, but very well received, and we had a lovely discussion with the students. Of course, it was a university student, so they more mature, you know, they more know what they want, you know, and etc. But when I was preparing for it, I find something interesting, which I've never really thought before is so important in being entrepreneurs and successful one. And in research, they call it triangle of values. And those are personal, professional, and social values. Each of the successful company CEO needs to have them himself, but it needs to be practiced by the company. And let me share you know what they mean by personal values: creating trust, respect, loyalty, and long-lasting business relationships. I think this is important for entrepreneurship, for any private business. And that's our personal values. Professional values guide us towards our business being reputable, going with trust. Social values. You know, many companies, probably by now, all companies of all sizes, they have something which is a social responsibility. There's even a special budget for many of them. Social values which lead our society perceiving, and this is very important word, the business as socially acceptable, supportive, and sensitive to society's needs and expectations. I would like each one of you to tell me, what do you think about those values? Are they really important? Should they be that, you know, part of the success? Or maybe one is more important than other and the rest is not. How do you feel about this triangle of values for your own businesses?
Should I go first, or should we go in the same way?
Whoever raised the hand or then will be the first one.
Okay, I guess, Ms. Margo, it is very important in entrepreneurship. And I usually say to my young colleagues and everyone, like you have mentioned the personal values very well, but I'll add one more thing to it. I think in the personal values, another thing which comes in is family strength, and the strength you get from the family. And that comes under the personal value as well. And
yes,
I think
absolutely.
I think the most important thing, I would say the most important thing is in the business is like what remarks or feedback you're getting from the family, or what strength you're getting it from it. It can be your wife, it can be your children. And the relaxed mind, the most like the satisfied diversified mind from the family background is the one who goes further in the business. So I guess I'll add family strength, which comes under personal, which I'll add it to it. And professionalism is very important as well. Like that is what your work ethics are, how you communicate with your business associates, how you engage with others. And that is
How you
very vital.
negotiate.
Yeah,
There's a
that
lot
is
of competition in your world,
exactly,
you know, among
exactly.
the
And I think,
entrepreneurs.
yeah, and I think that is the thing which Western world is better than us. Like they work a lot on their professionalism. Like time management comes under the professionalism. At what time you go to somebody's place for a meeting, that comes under the
Yeah.
professionalism, what we lack in Pakistan, unfortunately. And
Well,
that
we are
all,
more relaxed. We are more
yeah,
relaxed.
but we are more relaxed, but still we are getting a lot more than them. That is, I guess, special blessing of Pakistan. But still,
Yes.
professionalism is what we need to learn
Yeah.
from that world. And then it's social. Social is what you give back to the society. And when you have earned something, and let's say you have achieved that zenith, then you need to give something back to the society. You need to be you need to be social oriented. Like that is what I believe that is very important in the business. So these three triangles, I think this is the core of entrepreneurship, which is like the basic of the things.
Yeah,
So this
I
is
was
my
also
belief.
impressed by that, to be honest, you know. I didn't know before I started to do this research for my presentation. And, you know, that was one of the aspects that actually was generated the most question and opinions, you know, after.
Exactly.
The young people were talking about, you know, this triangle of values, adding, saying, well, this one is more important than that one, but you should have them all, you know, and they have to be known. There was a lot of young people, the students were saying, you know, they have to be transparent.
Exactly. That is very nice point.
Has to
Very
make
nice
sure
point.
that it was coming from the students, you know.
Yeah, it was very nice.
And I was really impressed. Saqib.
I think you guys have covered everything as far as these three things
you
are
always
concerned.
have something to say.
I wanted to add just one thing to this. I think each individual, each entrepreneur also needs to focus inwards as well. I mean, personal, professional, social values. In all of this, you need to have a balance in life. Sometimes what happens is that you overdo one, and then it kind of takes you away from yourself. By that I mean that you need to give yourself time every day, at least an hour or so, for yourself, for your body, for your family. That aspect has to remain in the entrepreneur. This should be one of the core things that should be embedded in that entrepreneur. You need to have that balance in that hour or hour and a half a day that you need to take out for yourself. You need to focus on yourself, because you can very easily lose sight of what is important in life, and you need to have that right balance. So I would add that in that personal category.
In the personal category.
Yeah.
Thank you. How about you, Moazzam? Would you add something?
I believe that all these three things are connected. I see them as they make a chain. It starts from the personal one, it goes on to the professional one, and then it goes on to the social one. A person reflects himself in his work, and then his work is reflected in the society that he is in. But unfortunately, in Pakistan, we tend to act upon how the society is. So it turns around. People see what the society is doing, then they do the same things in their professional life, and then it goes on to impact their personal life as well. So that I think is something that's very unfortunate. Even
Yeah.
if you see all around the world, multinationals have even realized how important social corporate responsibility is. They've made it a part of their marketing campaigns. They are making the people aware of how they are giving back to the society. And I believe we had this coursework, and we found out that a company is considered to be a big one if they are more involved in a society. It's not more of how their sales are going or how they are doing. It's more of what role they are playing in their society. If they are more present, if they're doing more, people perceive that this company has got a mission, that they're onto something, and that they're gonna go big, because they know what they are doing. They know what the society demands and what they have to do for the society and what they have to cater. So I believe all these things work together for a business to achieve its goals. And I believe all these three things are really, really important.
And, you know, when we're talking about the social responsibility is usually companies basically giving by sponsoring financially the events. It's very popular. It's not the only, obviously not the only way, but we all know that this is one of the, well, you know, we'll sponsor this conference on environment, for example, and it's a wonderful thing. The question is, how do you actually give it back to society? And I mean society by the individual people.
I mean, in Pakistan, it's more of a financial thing. Companies over here, like they give money, they arrange concerts and everything. But if you see in other countries, like in UK, companies do tend to go to the roots. Like if I recall correctly, Ben & Jerry's, it's an ice cream brand out there in the UK, and they like reach out to their farmers, the people that they take the milk from. So they reach out to them, they understand if they require something, if they need any financial help or something. So they basically not only like do it for the society as a whole, they like reach out to their back end. Like if the people that are providing them with the good quality ingredients that they require, so they make sure that they survive, that they are there to do a job.
They learn, they teach people something for some
they teach people something rather than just
sustainable life, you know, or sustainable business, the small business, if they have it. So you know, social responsibility, and maybe you could consider it, you know. Social responsibility is also to prepare the young people by giving them an opportunity to observing how your companies are organized and how they're functioning. So by offering internships, get them for 2 weeks, get them for 1 month. Okay, it is very difficult to choose something, you know, when you are 17, 18 years old. We're talking about majority. We're not talking about, you know, oh, I started in the fifth grade. You know, there's not many fifth graders who are like that. There are not that many focused people like Saqib, you know, who both had their professional career and also absolutely amazing career in polo. So not every student, but if they see it, you know, telling them what it takes, it's not really powerful, but showing them how the companies like yours, how they are run, what does it take, how the meetings are, who is running it? Is it one CEO or is it a group of people? And how this group of people is interacting, you know, with different tasks for the company. So this brings me to one of the aspects which we're talking about, you know, this guiding values and characteristics. I would like to ask you how ISC Lahore, and please be as open as you feel comfortable responding to that. how ISC Lahore help you to acquire those characteristics, and how can school and maybe education in general, so any school basically, really in practical terms prepare students to make a proper choices to be entrepreneur? Who will start?
So, yeah, I will start, I guess. So I think it
Okay,
all.
go ahead.
I'll be very honest with you. So because I was started from ISC, so I guess it all started from ISC. It played an important role in establishing our base actually, from time management to picking up the right university for higher education. ISC, I guess, was the backbone of the process because it was the main, the integral part of choosing our university, our future, our friends, our connections. So I guess it is very vital that we had to had this university for our institution as our institution. So it teaches us values, how to respect others, how to behave well with our teachers. So I think ISC played a part of a mentor for us, and it gave us the direction to what course we had to choose from, what university we had to choose, and what direction we have to go in. So I guess education in general is very important, and it teaches us the values which you have mentioned earlier, the three values, the triangle. And I guess that is the part which our school teaches us. And this is the first stage of the process which everyone has to or should go through. And then he or she will have a better understanding of what future they need to pick out of. So that is, I guess, my approach of ISC and in general a university or college school.
So I will go to Saqib now and Mohsin, and I ask, sort of coming from it, but please add to it as well, to what Gohar said.
Okay.
So how actually, in practical terms, how can we put entrepreneurship on the agenda of learning in school? Should be some kind of a course in introductory course? Should it be a special program which we bring from outside and offer to the students? How to do it?
Okay, so I joined Choueifat in grade 8, and before joining Choueifat, I was coming from Aitchison. Choueifat, one of the best things about it, which changed me, was the fact that in the very first, I would say, month or couple of months, it gave me a lot of confidence as a student, as a person. I think it was that confidence in every aspect. I mean, and not just learning inside the classroom. I feel that the classrooms were designed in a way that it made me feel comfortable. Aitchison had a very different environment. And not all kids are the same. Some kids are introverts, the other are extroverts. They're different kids and they've got different needs. I feel that as a kid who had talent, and every kid has talent, I think it developed me in a very short time. It gave me that confidence that I needed to start exploring what I need to do in life. I started picking the right subjects at school. I still remember we had an economics teacher, Mr. Rao. Always remember him. Extraordinary teachers. They gave guidance. They never pushed. They tell you, and Mr. Rao was, I think, one of those two teachers that, developed that interest of economics in me. And that was phenomenal for me. Our sports teachers, I remember we used to have Mr. Greg, who's this American guy. He's there. I don't know where he is now. And developed a lot of things that we didn't know. Coaching, whether it be in a classroom or outside, is extremely important. I mean, these early years, they instill those core values in you, and these teachers, I think, were the ones that helped me pick out the right subjects for me. I mean, I never had a thing in my head, okay, I want to be this or I want to be that. I think I was more of a kind of a person that found out about myself along the way, and then I could pick out the right things for myself. And I think Choueifat did that for me.
Thank you. Now, Mohsin, your turn. So what we're gonna do? Entrepreneurship. How to talk to students about it? Advising classes, special course. They would hate it, I think. Bring someone outside organization to run more of the interactive program.
For me, entrepreneurship, I believe, whenever you start in a book or a coursework which is related to entrepreneurship, it starts with this very important word, initiative. I believe that covers half of what in entrepreneurship is. So when it comes to how you can prepare students to create their interest towards entrepreneurship, I believe it has to be more of a practical thing rather than a course or something. So how you can make the current or the coming generation more into what, so that they want to become an entrepreneur, how you can encourage them is, I believe that you need to make it a practical thing. Like you give them a task, you tell them that, all right, this is your term. By the end of a term, get me a paper written, or get me an idea or anything. It can be an idea about anything. Get me the I know they won't be that aware of a financial, but an estimate or something would do. And then you can get this instructor who can evaluate their ideas and everything, find out if that idea will work or something. It can be a small idea. It can be like related to a 5,000 or 10,000 or like setting up a stall or something. But it gives them that experience. They're going to get that experience. They're going to get that encouragement. They're going to get that confidence that we can start a business. We can do the background work, and then we can run that business, and then we can make that business successful. Like it can be on a short or on a small scale, but still they're gonna get the experience. That's gonna be a huge one. And I believe that is the main thing. Like people after graduating and doing completing their studies, they then turn to this thing. They get a small investment. They decide that we're gonna invest small, and then we're gonna see whether we are made for it, that whether we can be an entrepreneur or not. But I think this thing should start from school level.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
They should be
Fully
aware
agree.
Once they've graduated, they should be aware that will they be an entrepreneur, or will they pursue their career in a more professional degree rather than a doctor and an engineer or something, or are they going to be an entrepreneur? They should be aware of this once they graduate, or once they complete their bachelor. They should be aware whether they're going to be an entrepreneur or they're going to be a professional. They're going to pursue a professional degree. So I think this thing, giving them the practical experience, that should start from the school level thing. It can be a small thing. For me, I think a coursework or in paper well written with a good research gives an idea whether that business is going to make it or not. You don't have to do it practically. You don't have to set it up, and then you don't have to go out there and sell things and everything. On paper, you can see, actually, right now, there are these, you can say these modules or these software designed where a student can log in and he can invest his own non-real, or you can say in virtual currency or something, and then he can start a business, and he can like work on the software, and from there he can make money and make sure that whether that business is going somewhere or not. You don't need any sources or anything. You just need a laptop, and that's it, and your skills.
If I may add it, I think, it comes from you, from what you're saying, it's maybe just a different way. I put the different words because, working in the school, not in the business, despite that I come from the business field. from the quality management field.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think, you mentioned something which we need to do more on the school level and even from the very early ages. Like, for example, next year, we're starting from Franklin Covey, we're starting leadership training for grades 2 to 4. So very small children.
I think that is a
Yeah.
very good initiative. Very good
It's
initiative.
already, we're going that
Exactly.
low to build the
Mhm.
foundation. This is
Very
a
good.
special program
Nice.
Franklin Covey, designed, and we're bringing it to school next year for grades 2 to 4. For the lower grade, for the higher grades, but definitely we can start as early, probably maybe as a grade 5, but definitely, in the middle schools from grade 6, the much more bigger emphasis on what some call, part of them are 21st century skills. Much more of their teaching, learning, practicing, communication skills, negotiations, presenting the point, people skills. It's important for you to have the partners, the customers, the vendors. In some cases, you need to know how to approach those people and get your way. So your own personality, your own attitude towards ours, preparation for such a meeting, and of course, negotiations, conflict resolution is something which we need on a much stronger scale, help the students to acquire. It will be like the foundation, okay, on which, there are life skills. There are not only just the professional skills, but obviously the life skills. And they are different. And this is something we have to start doing. There are different when you deal with people across the face-to-face, across the big table in the boardroom. And there are different when you deal with the partners, with the clients online. And online is gonna be something which is gonna be taking your business, if it is not already taking part of it, okay? And it will become much more needed to have those partners, not only here in Pakistan, but also, maybe neighboring countries, or maybe even, globally, because your businesses have a potential for that as well. Couple last things. You definitely face challenges, and becoming entrepreneur, everyone will have the challenges, on the plate. Could you please, each one of you, name the 2 challenges which you really had, coming head to head with? Mohsin, why don't you start first?
Yeah, Mohsin, let's start from Mohsin.
Let's give Mohsin a chance. What
Okay,
were the
right,
2? Or what they are, maybe even now?
I believe the challenges that were
obviously challenges affecting your business.
All right. I believe the challenges that were present for a business that was like 10 years ago are really different that we have nowadays. Given that it's a global village now, you compete with not only the businesses based in your country, but the businesses all around the world. So I believe the first challenge would be that, you have to realize that the changes that are happening out there, and you have to be aware of them, and you have to be able to compete with them or even overcome them. And that would be the first challenge I believe that an entrepreneur faces right now. The second one for me would be the need to create a product or a business that is concentrated in a niche market. You can't be out there competing in a bigger or within general product, because then the industry has grown so competitive that you need to select your sector and you need to stay to it. If you're like all over the table, it becomes really difficult. Like you're gonna get knocked off in a certain region or a certain place. You will still be doing well in certain regions, but the thing that is that where the company isn't performing well, that is gonna be a big headache. It doesn't hurt if you're making profit, but what really hurts is when a company is losing money. So when you stick to your guns, when you stay in a certain market, you have that niche product, and when you are getting to a certain market, you know your client base, you know your target market. That I believe is the real thing where a company can succeed, and that I think for a business that is competing or that is existing at this current period, it has to stay to its market. It has to recognize its target market, and that is where it has to be at its best and be on the top of that market.
Thank you, Moazzam. Well, I'll go now to Saqib.
I think Mohsin said things very correctly. I totally agree with him. I would just like to add maybe that
that's
as a
I
business,
need you too.
As a business, the few issues that we had, the biggest one that we had was that first opportunity. When you come into the market and let's say you're bidding for certain contracts and you're trying to compete with these mammoth organizations, in our case, that we were dealing with in oil and gas. I mean, they just don't let you come in and they eat you up in the first week. So the first opportunity, first issue for us was that first contract. And to go to those meetings when you are meeting clients and you try to explain to them that you are this new company that can do things better than these other guys, cheaper as well. So I think that was probably one of the biggest hurdles that we had, that people start taking you seriously. The second one I would add is that you have to believe in yourself, because you will face a lot of criticism, you'll face a lot of failure, and you need to push through those moments, and you need to believe and you need to push, and I think success will follow. I think God will help, but you need to push and believe in yourself. Just like to add that.
Thank you. And how, Gohar, you are very anxious to share the two of yours.
My experience is, in my experience, the two challenges which I faced, because my business was a new one. And it was like started from zero. So the first challenge which I faced was obviously the financial challenge, which I guess most of the people will face when they are starting a new business. One thing which you lack in is the financial management. Actually, you have the funds, but because you are new into business, you don't know where to spend most of your funds in, and where to save it in. So that is the first thing which I face. A challenging environment was in the financial kind of a thing. And the other thing was that my product was kind of a new one. So I had to introduce it to different regions and different people. And as you mentioned, Ms. Margo, that it is a little expensive product, and it is just designated into those people who are looking more into aesthetic value of their body. So for the challenge was to introduce it to people and to get it recognized into this country and all other countries, like how it works and how it is better than the metal braces, and to convince the dentist that we are not doing any kind of fraud into this country, and we have all kind of said, because the first thing
was already there.
Because the first thing people see into you when you bring a new thing is that they see that you are doing a fraud. That is very common in Pakistan. Whenever you bring something new, they say you are doing fraud. That is the first thing they notice about you. So that was the biggest challenge which I had to face. I had to get some certifications which costed me $1 lakh just to get the FDA approval. to get the CE mark, ISO certifications, to just prove that what I'm manufacturing is like up to the mark.
Of the highest quality.
Exactly. So that were the two challenges which I faced, and that I'd like to share with you guys.
Thank you. You actually mentioned one which I wanted to add, which is a cash flow management.
Exactly. That is very important.
Proper
Very important.
budgeting, planning, bank loans, borrowing money from the friends and the family,
Exactly.
Getting into debts, because if you do that, particularly with the bank loans, but I think it's a challenge for the for the young company, just sort of being born, it's not even a toddler yet. My second was, but somehow none of you mentioned that. And I always think that HR, hiring people, is a challenge. Hiring people with the right attitude for the positions, not qualifications.
That is still a challenge for us.
Qualifications is very easy. Don't ever hire a person only because of his or her qualifications. Hire because of attitude. Qualifications and skills you can always get later. But if you don't have the attitude which goes with the culture of your company, you are in trouble. They will basically be constantly pushing you back, and you constantly be firing and hiring. Exactly. So I think hiring policy and looking for the right people, having someone on board, the HR, truly HR professional. Because nowadays, this is what they're looking for. The questions they ask are different questions than any of us will ask, or we might be asking. So it's good to have someone, who will bring on board, because only then you will bring cohesive, but also loyal and bonded team. Okay, with that. But that's my opinion, and I'm not so sure you agree with me. Maybe your opinions are different.
Agreed, 100%.
The biggest challenge, I guess. We are still
hand,
facing this challenge. HR is a constant challenge. It is still present into our companies, and we are very much in need of a good HR person.
A couple of things on the not a lighter note, but more on the personal note. And Saqib already shared it with us. He's a successful one, but I wonder how Gohar and Moazzam are doing in that era. How do you manage your extensive professional responsibilities and constant competition you have to deal with? And demanding customers as well, and with your personal life, pursuing your talents, pursuing your hobbies, finding a free time. How do you manage? Because we know that Saqib is very successful. It can be done, and he found the balance for himself, for his love of polo, and for his family. So how about again, let's start with Moazzam and then we'll move to Gohar.
For me, I believe that life, I don't take life as a responsibility. I believe so that it's just a thing that you have to go through, and you have to live it like it's your life. You have to, it has to, if you take it as a responsibility, it's obviously gonna get tough. So I don't take it as a responsibility, but you have to compete. You have your certain goals that you have to achieve, and it becomes tiring sometimes. But for me, I believe I'm blessed that I play football regularly. So that's something that being whenever I'm playing football, that's something that's the time that I get to be my I sort of get my composure and my sanity back whenever I'm playing football. So I believe that's something that
Gohar, why don't you pitch in
between my profession and my personal life? I believe so.
Hello.
हाँ जी, गोहर.
जी साकिब भाई, लगता है मिस
I
मार्गो
think
चली गई.
आप और मैं अभी तक maybe she's
शायद
coming
वो आ
back.
रहे हैं.
No, Miss Margo is still here.
Yeah. Can you give us 5 more minutes? We don't need more.
Yes.
We absolutely,
Yes, Miss
we're almost finishing. I just wanted, Mohsin almost finished. Gohar, how do you find this balance?
So I'll just point it quickly. So Miss Margo, I have a different approach to this. And recently what I have experimented is that I have purchased that time. I have paid for that time. Actually.
Again.
So yeah, so what I have done
we have
is
the
like,
problem with audio.
I guess, can you hear me now?
Mr. Moazzam?
Yes, Gohar, we can hear you.
We have the problem with audio.
We can hear you.
Our internet connection is unstable, whatever that means.
We can hear you, Miss Margo. We can hear you, Miss Margo, and we can hear Gohar as well.
I can't hear you.
Just give me a second.
I have only one question, and we need to do that. So can we go back to a normal state for just, I guess, 2 minutes?
Can you hear me, Miss Margo?
We need 2 minutes. Please be patient.
It's not recording though. Yeah, now it's recording.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll just say it in one sentence.
Okay,
So
I don't think so we can
yeah.
record it because the audio is very bad.
It's
Is it
recording
better
now.
now?
Yeah, it's
No.
recording now.
Yes, it's all right.
Not at all.
We can hear you, Gohar.
Technology.
Go ahead with your answer.
I can't hear you, Mr. Moazzam. It's breaking up. It's not working. So my question was, based on your experience as a former student of ISC Lahore and a very, very successful entrepreneur, what would be your message to current students at ISC Lahore? Just a message, 1-2 sentences.
I think let's start from Mohsin, Miss Margo.
Okay, Mohsin, you are on the firing line.
Okay, so basically, my message for the students for ISC Lahore would be that they should never doubt themselves, like, and or they shouldn't even let anyone else doubt themselves, like. So they should be confident. They should take ISC as in learning journey, and they should learn as much as they can. Like this is the stage where they're gonna build their character, their skills, and everything. And they should like be ready and be willing to acquire as much skill or as much confidence they need for what's coming ahead.
Thank you, Mohsin. How about you, Gohar?
Miss Margo, my message is very simple and short. So I'll just tell it from my experience. People see investment as everything when starting a business. Like they see like when they will had a huge amount of funds, then they will start the business. When it is not like this, the biggest investment or the biggest driving force in the business is your young age. So this is the key factor of excelling into the business. So when you have age, you are young, then you should just start and dive into this whatever project you are interested in. It can be polo, it can be engineering, it can be entrepreneurship. But when you are young, you should dive in. You shouldn't wait for the best time to start. So this is the right time. Start whenever you feel it is ready.
Thank you. Saqib, you have your last word.
I would just like to say to all students that find the right subjects for you, find who you are as a person. ISC is always going to have excellent teachers and they'll guide you along the way. Take risks, find a balance in your life, take time out, balance that time between your work, your family and your hobbies. Believe in yourself and always use your head, but make decisions with the heart.
Thank you. And I think, the last one, the heart, this passion, the emotional attachment to what you want to achieve is also very, very important and part of the success. I want to thank the three of you, Saqib, Gohar, Mohsin. We are extremely proud of you and the way how you connected your careers to the basis you receive at ISC Lahore. And we are extremely proud, all of us here, that we could provide such a building blocks. And we definitely will be continuing and doing even better job than in the past. And I hope that one day, when we start the new academic year, that you will be generous and you will come and talk to our students, particularly to the student leadership. For them to open up their minds, give them the motivation. These are very talented young men and women, and if you could give some of your time and meet with them and share like we did share today, but based on their questions, based on their issues and interests, I think we will be very grateful. I hope you enjoy the program. I hope you find it interesting. And for us, I think in a lot of cases, it was an eye-opener and something we learned what we can do more and better here in the school when it comes to this new era of entrepreneurship, but something which will be extremely needed in each of the countries, particularly after pandemic. So once again, thank you and wishing you continuing success. Very proud of you.
Thank you
Thank you very
us.
much, Ms. Margo. Thank you for having us. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Margo. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Very proud
Thank you.
of you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Moazzam Saab.
Thank you. Thank you, Moazzam.
So with this, we would like to conclude this program. Such a thoughtful and thought-provoking discussion. I'm really proud of the panelists, and I'm really proud of their accomplishments that they have made in such a young age. If you guys have any questions, you can write it in the comment boxes and we will definitely reply to it. And till that time, take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones, and we will come with another program, another panel, and another topic. Take care and Allah Hafiz.